Hello everyone, my name is Rajesh Kumar and I'm your Devops SRE DevSecOps coach. Okay, so Splunk. So what we are going to do with the Splunk? So basically, see, there are when you talk about the observability, there are few areas which we have. One is like metrics, second one is trace, third one is logs.
Hmm.
So Splunk is a market leader in log analysis. Logs which may come from the different sources, different types of log, different formats of log. And Splunk is a platform using that we analyze the logs, millions of lines of logs we analyze, and then using that logs you create some reports on dashboard and alerts and share with the management. So that is at a high level. So yeah, log analysis. So one of the common mistake which most of the organizations are doing is like they're saying, hey, we have a CPU, I mean, host information available, whole host statistics available like CPU, RAM, storage, network, and all. We don't need log analysis. Sometimes we say, hey, everything is great. My product is running great, and there's no problem in it. Everything is things. Why we need to invest money in log analysis? And sometimes you say like organizations say we don't have a time, we are very busy in the development, testing, releasing, and all stuff like that. There's no time for the new initiatives such as log analysis, and suddenly system is failed. Now the system is okay, I mean CPU is okay, RAM is okay, hard disk is okay, application is also okay, but system is failing because of maybe security issues. It might be it maybe it has got hacked, and you don't know. So like hacking is not happening in one day. It takes years and years to get into your system. And you were
So
not analyzing the logs,
maybe
right?
one thing I just wanted to highlight. I'm not coming from DevOps background. My background is cybersecurity, so it will be more focusing on cybersecurity concepts rather than observability because Splunk can do both, right?
Yes, both it can do. So
Okay.
I'm talking only the log analysis.
Yeah.
Observability, you have matrices, alerts, and traces, APM and all. I'm not covering that one. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the stuff. So yeah, now you will realize that you may need some help and stuff like that. You will realize your mistake and stuff like that. So yes, log analysis is very important, what I was trying to tell you. And so now question is, what is a log? So in a simple way, if I say anything you do in the system, in fact, you are watching my screen right now, it's being
Yes.
recorded somewhere. So
Hmm.
everything is been converted into logs. You click somewhere, you browse somewhere, you open somewhere, uh, you know, anything you do on the IT system, it has been recorded. It has been logged uh, and stuff like that. So log, also known as machine data, is everywhere. In fact, you are generating it right now. So some of the logs data sources which you find is like IDs, firewalls, anti-malware, proxies, network infrastructure, server logs, bit database applications, and all. So these are the at a high level. Uh, let's go into depth. So what kind of logs you'll find? So here you have a server logs, workstation logs include Linux log, Windows logs, certain log files, access logs, file system logs. Firewall logs, you may have it, warning logs, alerts, IP addresses logs. Databases also we have a different types of log like audit logs, configuration logs, schemas, tables, queries logs, web transaction log, click stream log, location, browser, time. DevOps also we have a lots of different types of logs like test logs, log4j events, and code check-in and all. IoT devices again we have a different types of logs. So yeah, there are different sources of the logs which we understand that, and
Hmm.
here we need to analyze it. Now, one of the region which we discussed just few minutes before, security is one of the reason why we should analyze the log. But apart from that, there are so many other reasons also there. So production monitoring and debugging purpose, we need to analyze the log. We want to check the resource uses of our infrastructure. For that also logs. HTTP errors, you want to see the logs. Slow queries, Log analysis is important. Rogue automated robots, security issues, and so many. You want to track your website visitors also. Logs can be helpful for you. Some new threat discovery or security, network security, infrastructure security, and all, you need a logs. So there are many reasons why we need to do log analysis. Sometime incident response, sometime measuring the security compliance, and so on. So yes, log log analysis is very important. Now this is something very important. So here in Splunk, I can teach you how to collect the logs. I can also teach you how to search for it, the one which you said SPL, Splunk
Yeah.
Processing Language. I can help you with the SPL, how to search. But the thing is, I cannot teach you what should be searched. For
Mm.
example, I'll put it in this way. You have a google.com. Did anyone taught you what to search? No. It's all about your requirement, and based on your requirement, you search as Google databases using the google.com, and then you get the results, and that results you do some actions on it. So same way, Splunk is a kind of Google for your enterprise application runtime environment. So in the Splunk, you have every sort of logs which of from your organizations, like server logs, network logs, application logs, and different types of logs. Now what you want to search for from that database, this you have to decide. Okay, but I can teach you how to store the logs and how to search the logs. What to search, you have to take up a call in this. But because we are learning the Splunk, something has to be there. Some 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 logic has to be there, what to search for it. So this is just for getting started. The Once you set up a Splunk, what to search, that's like is infinite questions, infinite topics you have for that actually. So yeah, some of the things which you want to search for it, to get started with it, like I want to know the logs where the password got changed. I want to know the logs where unauthorized login has happened. I want to know the logs of all the login failures, new login event, malware detections, or malware attacks seen by IDs, or some
This is
firewalls open and
really
closed port.
interesting, but the challenge will be how to exactly search those. Like that was my challenge
Huh.
usually. It's
How
like,
how to how to search, that I'll teach you.
yes,
How to
exactly.
search,
Like
yeah.
how to go for
Yeah.
malware detection, what is indexes, what is source
Yeah.
types, these things are, but so far it's so good. Okay.
Yeah. So DDoS attack, errors on network devices. Someone has changed your file, some important file. I want to have a logs for it. File integrity changes. Someone has exported your database. I want the logs for it. Some new process started or running. Process stopped, disconnected. So these are just the idea to a high level. The requirements may come from the projects, and then you have to work for it. So question,
Hmm.
let's say I want to know how many login failures has happened in the Windows. Let's say your manager is coming to you and saying that, hey, in Splunk we have Windows log. I want you to find out how many login failures has happened from last 1 month, and those login failures is coming from which IP address. We need to audit that IP address whether it's a trying is correct one or not correct one. So tell me your logic. How do you identify? How do you search?
Well,
Start searching. Forget about the SPL. Think about the logic. Build the logic in your mind. If I want you to find out the login failures in Windows log, how do you search for it?
of course, I have to specify which index is there. Okay, that is
That's okay.
collecting
Yeah.
the login result
Yeah.
of the Windows accounts. All right, and then I should know what's that result. If it is an error, for example, it has the word error, then I have to search on this one on that index. I have to write the specific SPL for that.
Hmm. Okay. So logic will be built not like this. It'll be very difficult for you to work on like this. So one thing is clear. Remember that Splunk is just a database where you have a logs, and not one line of logs, million lines of logs you'll find it. So
Mm-hmm.
now if you are searching for something, let's say example, login failures. So you should be having logic for yourself. For example, if you are searching for the Windows log, you should be very powerful in Windows. If you
Mm,
are searching for Apache log, you should know in and out about Apache. You should, if you are searching for Tomcat log, you should be very strong in Tomcat. If you are searching for the MySQL log, you should be very strong in MySQL. If you are searching for the network log, you should be very strong in terms of concept of network and all stuff like that. So here I'm what I'm trying to say here, you should know that one so you can search for it. For example, let's say if you don't know something, so how can you query that one? For example, you don't know anything about me, so how can you know about the my properties, getting my points?
true.
So here, for example, the logic should be built accordingly. So you should not jump to Splunk. First, build the logic in your mind. So, for example, login failures. So I know Windows very well. I know Windows very well. So what should I
Mm,
do? I will find that the Windows event for the log is Windows event ID for login failures. Login
mm,
failures. That logic you should be knowing it. And now I will search for the any logs which has a event ID 4625. It's easy. Because if you search for the login failures, you may find odd results also. Login failure of Apache, login failure of Tomcat, login failure of Windows, login failure of Linux, login failure of X, Y, Z. Everywhere we have a login mechanism, right? So
true.
this is the right. One more time discussion. DDoS attack, which is a denial of service attack. Tell me the logic. Let's say if your managers say, hey, we need Ahmed, we need to find out the whether the DDoS attack is happening or not. That's the first thing. And second thing, if it is happening, which source? So tell me, logic. Forget about the SPL, build that logic first.
The logic is I need to look at, unjustified traffic volume coming to a specific to a specific
Which
destination,
which
my network.
component? Which component?
Which component? It will be either my router or firewall.
Firewall. No, you should be checking the Apache module or network module. So Apache, because see, web server receive all the traffic, correct now? DDoS
Hmm.
attack always happen with the web. So either it could be Nginx or Apache. Okay,
Okay.
and it can be network also. So you will search for network, and then in that logic you will search, okay, somehow I need to know the uh, list of request which is happening from the same IP address too many times. So that is a
Hmm.
sign of DDoS attack, right? So now you need to know, before searching for this DDoS attack, know about the characteristics of DDoS attack. What is DDoS attack? How it happens? How they generate attack? So you can prevent. Remember that you need to understand the how they attack so you can prevent. Because in a database you have everything, but you don't know what to search for it. So you are going to search for the unique IP address, the IP address from where the too many request is coming within a 1 second or 1 minute or something like that. Correct now?
Yes, correct.
So something like that. So here what I was trying to tell you in these slides, I can teach you how to store the data in Splunk, and I can teach you how to search for it, what to search for it, that you have to build the logic yourself. So your infrastructure, it can be anything, we don't know, but you need to know the infra well, all the tools which you are having in your infra well, how do they generate, what are the sources of Apache log, Tomcat log, MySQL log, AWS log, network log, database log, firewall logs, all these things you should know, and then start searching for at Splunk. It's your Splunk is your google.com. Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes,
so
makes
now,
sense.
so what are the common fields you will find in the each log? Again, the fields may differ, but this some of the common fields you will find in each logs. Like Apache fields are differ from Tomcat. Tomcat logs differ from Windows. Windows log fields differ from Linux. So remember that it's a but common fields you will have it. For example, time, source, destination, protocol, ports, username, and so on. Okay, so now the question is, what are the best practices to follow uh, during the log analysis. By the way, nowadays the life has become very easy actually, because lots of features which you got it along with the tools like Splunk itself or Elasticsearch also. So life has become very easier. But these are the features should be available so to make your work easier. One is like pattern detection and recognition. See, I'll give you an example of Apache logs. You have millions of logs from Apache. Now you can't go through each and every lines of log and see that what is the kind of logs you're having. Tool should give you the pattern. Okay, this is info, this is error, this is a warning or something like that, and you can get the pattern. Tool should give you by reading the millions of lines of code logs and give you the pattern, and then you can focus on the certain pattern. That will be easier for you. So tool should give it to you, and Splunk, yes, they are giving it to you. Second thing is normalization. Normalization means, I'll give you an example for it. Let's say you have a logs from Apache in your database. Database means Splunk. Now, but the problem here is your data, I mean the search, when you search that, you are getting inconsistent result. Why? Because the logs of Apache from India is having IST timestamp. Logs from Apache from USA, it has a UST timestamp, PDT, PST, whatever it is. So different timestamps, your results will not be consistent. So what to do? Before storing in the Splunk itself, either convert to India IST timestamp or USA timestamp. So that way your results, quality of searches will be much better. So this is one of the examples. You should normalize the data before storing it, because after storing it, you should not be having challenging uh, challenges while searching for it. Are you understanding?
Yes, but who does this normalization? The system itself or the forwarder or whom?
No. So in Splunk, we have a heavy forwarder concept. Okay.
Yes.
And that will help you to do that normalization, where
Okay.
you can write a rule saying that, hey, convert this pattern, this timestamp to this timestamp, and then store it in the indexes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Now second thing is, the tool should also provide you the tagging and classifications. In what way? Let me put it in this way. See, you have a 20 microservices. Each microservices you are using Apache or Nginx for front end. Now
Mm-hmm.
this Nginx log is from the microservices 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. How do I know? How do I know? That is where the tagging and classification is there. So before storing the data at Splunk, logs at a Splunk, you should add a tag or classify, categorize that. So tool should provide you that functionality, and yes, Splunk do provide that tagging functionality to the extent, to advanced extent. So that is there. Fourth option is correlation analysis. Correlation means, I want to know. Let's understand this way. You are accessing Amazon.com, so you have accessed the login, then searches on the product, then did some carting, wish list, and then make a order, confirmation, order book, lots of things. You know that while you work with the transaction, you might have experienced 20 to 30 microservices altogether.
True.
Now,
Like
if
catalog to payment to
yes,
card,
all these
all of these.
different microservices.
Yeah.
So now the question is, if I want to know, you as a user, your session, which are the microservices you have used and what you did, how do I get the logs? Because one logs I can get it, but it should be correlated your logs only on other services. Like that, you have a millions of users.
Mm.
So how do you get it? So that is where the correlation analysis required. So that means tool should provide you a way where service one user to service two, same user, the
Mm.
logs could be correlated. So that way it will be easy for you to debug what this user has done here, and then what this user has done here, whether he's doing some attack or something like that, or some. So correlation should be there on the server logs, firewall, network devices, and other sources also. So that tool should provide you this functionality as well. And the last feature which should be provided by tools like Splunk is artificial ignorance. That means not everything is important for us. Let's say info. I don't want to store in a Splunk and pay lots of money to Splunk. I want to just ignore those lines, not to store. So tools should provide you a features where you can ignore certain lines if you want, should be available. And yes, Splunk are doing. So yes, Splunk is offering you all these five best practices at only one platform. So what
So,
to do?
just a question here. The data
Yeah,
itself, the database is stored on Splunk, right? I'm not reading
yeah,
it from somewhere else whenever I search it. Am I right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You should get
And
in at the one only one place.
will you talk about the architecture and
Yes, yes,
licensing of
yeah,
Splunk
yes,
later on,
yes,
or no?
yes,
Okay,
yes.
then I will delay any other questions. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So it will be covered. So all the topics which
Okay.
is there as part of advance. In advance, almost every topics are there. So no need to worry about
Mm-hmm.
that. Okay. So how do we do the log analysis? So first collect the logs from different sources. Then clean the logs, which you want, which you don't want it. You want to get into that, and then convert this into a structured format, store it, and then analyze the data, and then get a result in form of reports, dashboard, alerts. So generate, collect, aggregate, normalize, alert, store, summarize, and make a conclusion and act on them. So these are the phases for log analysis. So which are the options available for it? So in this session, we are using Splunk for it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Splunk, which is breaking the silos, that means understand in this way. Different people in your team, they need a different types of log. Okay, so service desk want different kind of logs, application support teams want different kind of logs, developer and admin people want different kind of logs. So here at a Splunk, only one platform and can help you to serve the different kind of logs without any problems. Okay, so why to learn Splunk? I think anyways you have a reason for it, so you have subscribed for it. Yeah, but one of the number one software in a log analysis domain, we have a Splunk. So that is the stuff. Okay, so yeah, so now we'll move on to Splunk after understanding that importance of Splunk. So I'll discuss about what is Splunk, how does Splunk works, how is
Mm-hmm.
Splunk deployed, and apps and many other stuff. So one by one, we'll take it further. So what is Splunk? So I think more or less at a high level you understand this. Splunk is a kind of place where you store the logs. In technical terminologies, we call it indexing the data. Okay, so you have a index. So here, why we are not calling database, but we call it index? Do you have any idea why do we call it index?
No, honestly.
Yeah. So basically, we call it index because we store the data not as it is. We store the data in a certain format. Okay,
Mm.
and that format we call it, just a second, index algorithm in Splunk. We call it inverted index concept. Let me see if quickly. Here it is, inverted index. So now the question you should know what is an inverted index. Okay, so this I will like you to give you some offline assignment. Okay, this is not something which Splunk is using. Any time, any places where you see index like Splunk, Elasticsearch, or somewhere else also Prometheus and all, so you will see this concept inverted index. So inverted index is a concept in which it design the algorithm to store the logs to safeguard the storage actually. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so just take a note of this if you want to know internal of database and stuff like that, this algorithm which will help you, inverted index. Okay, so
Okay.
yeah, this works on the inverted index. So that's the reason we call it index. So yes, what is Splunk? So Splunk is a kind of database, kind of place where you have a logs which is in indexed format. Now, once you have indexed format, so we can search for it, search and investigate. So search and investigate. How do we do that? So we have for SPL, we have SPL means Splunk processing language. Also in the Splunk, you can create a knowledge. Knowledge means, see, knowledge means, let's say you spend 2 to 3 days of time frame to find out the certain patterns for the
Mhm.
logs. So this you can create a useful for other people, so they will not spend same time. That's called knowledge. So here we have some data maps, rule sets, and all this thing I'll talk about one by one. We have it. We have a monitoring functionality where you can create alerts, and then reports and dashboards also you have it. So this is a Splunk where you can analyze the logs, create alerts, create a reports, create a dashboard, and use for what? Application management, operation management, security compliance, and many more. Application management means you are troubleshooting the application. Operation management means you are troubleshooting the infrastructure and stuff like that. And security and compliance means to find out the any loopholes, I mean the prop security challenges in your application or infrastructure or network or whatever it is. So aggregate, analyze, and get answers from your machine data, and that for that we are using Splunk. Are you understanding?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So Splunk is a company name. Okay, it's a public multinational corporation based on San Francisco, California, and Splunk is a web-based tool. It's not a console-based, web-based. Web-based means it is accessible on the browser. So you need a browser for accessing that. 8080 is the port on which you can access. I'll show you that after installation. So Splunk,
Hmm.
the product itself, capture, indexes, correlates real-time data in a searchable repository from which it can generate graph, reports, alert, dashboard, and visualizations. Okay, so Splunk makes machine data accessible across an organization by identifying the data patterns, certain providing matrices, diagnose problems, providing intelligence for business operations, and so on. And they have I mean, thousands of customers, and including your company also. Okay, so why customer choose Splunk? I mean, there are a lot of reasons you can give it. This is the one number one product available in the market for the log analysis only, not for other domains I would say, but log analysis and SIM. This is the one of the product which we have. Okay, so yeah, this is a platform for universal data. That means every sort of data you can store in a Splunk in an index format. Mind it, take a note of it, inverted index concept. That will help
I
you to understand other products also.
Yeah, I took a note of inverted
Yeah,
index.
yeah. So here you can store every sort of data, sensors, security appliances. You can see that networks, RDBMS, cloud servers, and and what are the modes of collecting the data. So you can take it from the, we have agent, agent which is a universal forwarder and uh, uh, you know heavy forwarder. But it's not needed. Those forwarders are not needed actually through API, because Splunk is a web-based application. Using API, you can write a script and send the logs to the Splunk. That's not a problem. Tickets, alerts, different modes. You can collect the data and store at Splunk. Okay. So now this is the Splunk components topic. So here, if you see that, I know this image is a little complicated, but slowly you will start learning about it. So if you see that bottom side, here you have a Splunk engine, you can call it, or Splunk server, you can call it. It's up to you.
Hmm.
And here all the features you have available at a Splunk. One of the features which we have is a core is indexing. Indexing means how to collect the data. Then after that you have a searches, SPL, how to search the data. But apart from that, if you see around, you have many features like you can control the access, role based access, distributed search is there. You can create a knowledge from the some SPL. create reporting, alerting. A deployment server is not in context nowadays. It used to be, and monitoring files, detect file changes, and all this stuff like that. But how do you access this Splunk server? One is like a website, like browser, and CLI. Okay, API call also you can make it to access this. So slowly we'll get into the all and decouple all the components one by one and stuff like that. So workflow is very simple. Ingest the logs. Ingest the logs means feed the logs means store the logs. It will index the logs and then you start searching for it, visualizing the data in a Splunk. Ingest, store, visualize.
So
Okay,
ingest,
so
what exactly
in
ingest means? I hear
ingest
this word.
ingest means you are feeding the data, and Splunk is processing the data and storing it in their own format. So ingesting
Mhm.
means uh, you are saying, hey, take the data from here and send it to here, something like that.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, ingesting is that kind of process. So here you see Java. Java means you are saying, hey, take the data from here. These are the locations, these are the data, and send it to index, which is hosted by Splunk. Got it?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so this is the workflow. Now, what data? So I think more or less we'll discuss about any types of logs you can store it. Here we discuss already computers, network devices, virtual machine, internet device, communication devices, sensor, databases, and many other stuff. Any types of data from any sources you can store and index at Splunk. So here you see index any data from any sources at Splunk. Okay, look at this. This is the same picture, same knowledge, but in a pictorial way. So you see that here is the
Hmm.
Windows, Linux, cloud, application, database, networking, some data centers, and stuff like that, and different ways, different types of data you are storing at Splunk. So ticket, changes, metrics, alerts, messages, config, log files, everything you can store at Splunk. So what Splunk can index? Anything, any kind of logs it can index. Make sense?
Yes. Perfect.
Okay, so now this is the simplest architecture which I can propose you right now. So we'll have one dedicated session on the detailed deployment method of Splunk. There are lots of models we have. So one of the simplest model which we are suggesting right now. So let's discuss this one. So now what happens? This is the simplest model, I repeat. Okay, in enterprises, this is for learning purpose right now. So here what is happening? Look at it very carefully. So there is a forwarder concept which I'll talk about in detail. So forwarder is installed in Linux. Forwarder is installed in Windows. Some some API call, some database, some Mac machine. So here you have installed the forwarder. Okay, and then forwarder is sending the data to the Splunk indexer. So and Splunk search head. By the way, this Splunk search head and Splunk indexer is the same application, but you are telling this application, hey, behave like a search head and behave like indexer. I'll talk about the search head in some time. So indexer is like a storage, inverted index. It will send the data, and Splunk will store all the data at indexer. And then if you see the arrow, it's a opposite way. So search head is, I'll put it in a very simple way. Search head is like a google.com.
It's like
For
the web
example,
interface. Is it the web interface of Splunk? Is this where
yeah,
you write the SQL query? Is this the
yeah,
search?
yeah. So this is something like a Google search head. So this is like a Google search head. Here you have a search boxes. Like that, you will have a search head, some some boxes where you can write SQL query. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a search head. So now this search head and index server, you can get it from the same software, but forwarder we have a different software. Okay, I'll talk
Okay.
about it. So here you do, you know what? From the different sources, install the forwarder. Logs will be sent to indexer storage, and after that, using the search head, you can search, and SPL knowledge should be there for that searches techniques. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. So now if you want to get started with it, what should we do? First thing, this these two things will have a installation in one. So we have to install Splunk server, and then from the different machine, we install the universal forwarder. Universal forwarder will take the log from some places and send to this place. And here search head will act like a, this one will act like a search head plus indexer. Here you store the data and searches you can do that here. So this is you, and here you search to the stuff. Understood all of you?
Yes.
So we need to next sessions tomorrow. We need to set up this one and then start searching the data here.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes.
Have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.